Based on my 3.5 years of software sales experience, this is how you run effective discovery on sales calls. It starts with the MEDDIC framework, and I'm gonna outline it on this board right here. MEDDICC. It's an acronym for M, metric. And stick around until the end, guys. I'm gonna talk about what each of these mean in depth, and I'm gonna share example questions you can ask. It's like a puzzle. If you can fill out the answers to these questions during your sales calls, you'll be able to maximize deal value and close more deals so that you can make more money and find more success sooner rather than later. M, metric. E, economic buyer. Economic buyer. My handwriting's not great, guys. Luckily, they don't pay me to write down. I'm not a ledger. I'm a sales guy. I get paid to talk. Metric, economic buyer. Decision maker. Really important. Decision maker. D, decision criteria. Decision criteria. I, identify pain. It's a bit of a loop out there. Identify pain. The only reason someone's going to spend money is if they have enough pain to say, hey, I want to fix that. Identify pain. I'll just write pain. The big C's, we'll write competitors, champion, and the most important one, compelling event. Event. That's metric right there. Memorize it, and now we're going to cover questions you can ask to uncover each of these different steps. Before we get into the exact questions you can ask during discovery, that whiteboard right there, as you see, that we just wrote on, it cost over $3,000. The reason software companies can afford $3,000 whiteboards is because the business model of software is incredible. Incredibly high margins, 80 to 90%, low delivery cost, and great scalability. What that means is that you're not manufacturing goods, importing them from China, and distributing across the country like cars. Very hard to distribute. Software's really easy to distribute and turn on across the country. And then finally, recurring revenue. Recurring revenue is unbelievable. Go study it. Those are the 3 reasons why I love the business model in software sales. In order to maximize value for your customers so that you can, 1, increase deal value, and number 2, maximize customer lifetime value, you need to do effective discovery so that you can understand what are the business problems you're trying to solve, and then align your solution so the customer says, where do I write the check to? Send it over now. Keep in mind what you're learning in today's video took me years of self-development and growth to wrap my head around and understand well enough to be able to actually convey to you and teach and train people at scale. Write down a couple key takeaways as a result of this video and say, okay, that really resonated with me. I'm gonna go implement that in my sales practice today, whether it's pipeline generation, prospecting, or trying to find your dream sales job. If you're excited to close more deals and make more money, leave a like on this video now. I'm gonna break down what each of the MEDDIC acronyms mean and example questions you can ask. Keep in mind, a lot of you are in sales development, setting initial meetings, booking demos, generating pipeline. My experience as an SDR for the first 2 years of my career, I set meetings, I sat on the first meeting, my account executive ran the meeting, and I begged my account executive to accept the opportunity. That was it. I then left the deal at that point. At that point, the deal, it either takes 2 routes depending on the complexity of your enterprise software and if you are B2B. You'll do further discovery or you'll go right into a demo. If you don't know what business problem or challenge you're solving, you should not go into a demo because it's like going on to the beach of Normandy. You're gonna get ambushed and you're absolutely gonna get destroyed. You need to understand each of these MEDDIC acronyms so that you can then ask for the business and be able to articulate the value. Starting with M, metric. How the executive stakeholders measure the success of the program partnership and what impact it will have on the business financially. Starting with metric, think about this, guys. ROI, return on investment, metric, money. What is the bottom line, top line impact? What is the perceived ROI for a program like this? And this is the question I actually ask because we have a lot of questions here. Some of them I like, some of them I don't like. And this was put together between a couple colleagues and me when I was initially moving from SDR to account executive. How will you measure the success of this partnership 3 months from now? When we get back together a year from now, what will success look like? Understand, what are you actually impacting? Is it increasing revenue? Is it decreasing cost? Is it mitigating risk? Understand the M metric. The next one, E, economic buyer. Who signs off financially and who also has the power to veto or approve? This is so important, and this will play into the decision process. As an inexperienced rep a year ago, this is something I did not do well. I was taught, what is budget? What is timeline? Blah, blah, blah. But what you got to do is you got to make this process as easy as possible for the buyer. And a large portion of this is not trying to beat the bush around money, not trying to beat the bush around the process. Help them help you. And you got to ask them the right questions. Who is actually going to sign off on this? You really got to know that. If you don't know that, it's going to be much harder for you to win the deal. A question you can ask is, who does this proposal ultimately roll up to for final approval? This is also important because if you're speaking with someone that cannot give you the approval and you over-index their importance, the deal's going to come back around and you're going to lose because maybe they weren't able to articulate the value to the person signing off. Really important takeaway there. The first D, decision process. I may have gotten these switched around. Decision criteria is going to be the first D based on this list. Steps that need to take place from point of evaluation to signatures. Decision criteria questions. How do you currently understand the XYZ today? That's a question specific to Qualtrics. Essentially for decision criteria, what are your key wish list items? What does this solution must have in order for you to say, that's our ideal solution? Is it features? Is it functionality? And this really comes to you understanding the product knowledge of what you're offering so that you can ask the questions that potentially trap out your competitors and really highlight your strengths. The second D, decision process. Steps that need to take place from point of evaluation to signatures. This is really important. You'll have the initial meeting. You'll do your discovery. You'll do a demo. You'll negotiate. And they'll say, hey, you're our vendor of choice. I want to spend $100,000 with you. And you'll say, great, I won the deal. Not quite. That's not the process. Once you get the vendor of choice, once they say they want you, it's a whole new process to actually get the signature. That can take months in software sales for complex enterprise deals. You really need to understand the decision process, and this comes back into the economic buyer because you got to understand, does this need legal approval? Does this need IT approval? Do you need to do red lines? So you really got to ask about this so you can make this an easy buying process for your customer. If you're getting value from today's video, subscribe to this channel. We make sales videos like this each and every day. I'm a frontline sales guy just like you, not here to sell you anything, just here to help as many salespeople as I possibly can. Next, I, identify pain. Anything that is hindering the business from achieving the metrics above. Questions you can ask. Understand if there's an active pain or a latent pain. We can make a whole video on some of these stuff, guys, so I'm going to go a little faster for the sake of your time. But ultimately, how does your existing solution help you solve for XYZ metric? What sparked your interest in meeting with us today? Always ask why. Why does this work? Why does this not work? Now you guys are excited about this. We have the 3 C's. Compelling event, champion, competition. I know I switch these around a little bit. We're going to start with compelling event. What is motivating the business to make an investment by a certain time frame date? This is so important. This is what I think is the most important one. Why now? Just ask them, why now? If you haven't done anything, why now? If you understand this, you can then bring them back to this and drive urgency for them to actually sign a deal from that compelling event. Next, champion. A person that has influence and willingness to sell on your behalf. Need to be able to test this by asking them to do things on your behalf and see what they're able to get done. Guys, I've been burned on this so many times. There's a difference between a champion and a cheerleader. Sometimes you are speaking with someone at the customer company and you say, wow, they're so great to work with. They're going to help me so much. But in reality, they don't have enough clout to advocate on your behalf. You need to test them. You need to ask them to do things for you. You need to ask them to help you. The champion is what wins deals. Finally, competition. All other options that the business has outside of moving forward with Qualtrics, this could also be no discussion. Who else are you looking at? You just need to understand competitors, sales is competitive, you're competing with your colleagues to see who can do better, and you're competing with the external business environment. That is MEDDIC. The more, look at deals right now. If you're working deals, even if you're an SDR, look at MEDDIC. Ask yourself, how well can you fill these out for a particular deal? The more you can fill out, the higher your win rate. The less you can fill out, most likely you're gonna lose the deal. If you enjoyed today's video, leave a like on the video now. Comment down below which MEDIC acronym is the most important. Do you have any example questions that work for you? If you'd like to check out more about me, who I am, what company I work for, my pace and history, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to help you any way I can. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.